hope you're aware by now, 2019 on Property Tribes is the year of the smart landlord. We are celebrating our 10th anniversary by championing the concept of smarter landlords. And joining me to discuss that from the HMO perspective is HMO landlord and PropTech entrepreneur Olga Nechaeva. And Olga, I think there's so many challenges for HMO landlords, even just starting out in 2019. We've seen increasing regulation, increasing legislation, fiercer competition for tenants, Brexit uncertainty. Are landlords in the HMO sector going to have to get smarter in 2019?
Absolutely. I think there is a saying, the challenge is an opportunity. And I think what's happening on the markets, all the pressures is going to lead to one thing, is those who are not cut for the game might have to exit, and those who want to stay will have to up the game, which means that you have to be smarter in every respect about what you do. And I think HMOs and house shares, it's all about people. They're much more about people comparing to single let, because you provide so much more service and you put people together in a situation which is not a family situation. So managing that in the right level, I think, is the number one priority for the landlord. I would really encourage to spend more time with their tenants and spend time understanding how they actually live. It doesn't end when they just stay there and you wait until they call you when something's broken. Their ability to stay longer, their sort of loyalty to you really depends on their day-to-day experience and being there for them, not only when something goes bad, but before something goes bad, being there regularly, being able to talk through things, vent things, I think is very important. And it's different, as I said, from a single let. And hopefully what we are doing with No White Walls, which is a platform enabling a landlord to manage their house shares, not only from technology perspective of tenant onboarding, references, all these things which we cover, but also managing them as a community of people who you want to be in touch with in a different level than would be that of a family.
I'm so glad that you touched on that property management. It is a people business, and you're a prop tech entrepreneur yourself, but your intention is not to take the people element out of HMO property management, is it? It's just really to enrich the whole process.
Yes, absolutely. We are viewing technology as not the goal, but as enabler of that process which happens between the landlord and tenants and between tenants themselves. We believe this is the core thing to the success of shared living, and this is what we see happening with the larger players like We Live in the United States or the collective here in London. It's focused on people and it focused on their experience. And what we deliver is a technology to enable that experience in a small private house share.
Indeed. Now, on Property Tribes, we see a lot of newcomers to the sector coming in, and they've heard about HMOs and they love the sound of these high yields, which of course they do achieve. But what would your advice be for a newcomer landlord starting out with HMOs in 2019? Because I always feel that they should get some experience on single occupancy buy-to-let first before they start kind of gearing up into HMOs. Would you agree with that?
I would fully agree with that. I think HMOs is totally next level of a game in terms of how high touch the model is, how many more regulatory rules are there to observe and to manage, and therefore if you've never been a landlord overall, yes, probably single let is a good soft way to ease yourself into the job. And then once you move to an HMO, it's all about self-education. I think there is plenty of material out there. There's plenty of great people here on Property Tribes who would support you and direct you, but it's one model where there is indeed a lot to take in, and this is what you kind of invest to get those high yields. It's your own self-education. It's knowing what you're doing and doing it right.
Yes, indeed. Now, we've talked a little bit about No White Walls in another interview, and I observed that it's a very rare thing. It's one of those things called a triple win situation, and with the No White Walls platform, from my experience of it, the landlord wins, the tenant wins, but ultimately the community wins. And I think community in HMOs is becoming an increasingly important word. People want to create harmonious households, of course, but the kind of things that you're doing in your own HMO business, you're really taking a much bigger focus on community and how it benefits actually both the landlord and the tenant.
Yes, and this is what we hope to achieve, is that network of HMOs across UK where a tenant can always expect a certain level of service and a certain level of quality and care from a landlord. And we strongly believe there are landlords out there who are smart and who recognize the value of that level of service delivers to them through benefits of their tenants. So we're hoping to unite them together to create this community and ecosystem, not just of tenants chatting to each other, but of properties and landlords who want to build a truly high quality industry where people would know where to go. They would see it as a destination for quality house sharing, and we could benefit a larger community in terms of safety of our accommodation, in terms of workforce mobility, in terms of employers being able to get their places to live for their new employees and so on.
Indeed. Now, just as we finish then, Olga, as we said, celebrating the year of the smart landlord, what would be your one tip for 2019 to help HMO landlords be smarter and therefore more successful?
I would say talk to your tenants. So indeed, I will never stop talking about that, because I think every time I talk to my own tenants, I learn more. And I learn more and I learn more, and I realize how certain things could have been done better, easier, and actually cheaper for myself, and what they really value. You won't learn this on a property course. You won't learn it on elsewhere, talking to landlords. You only learn their true nature of their experience talking to them, and therefore spend time talking to them, and then you may discover that something we offer can solve all of those demands they might put against to you.
So listen to your customers.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, that's a very positive note to end on. Thank you very much for sharing your insights into what makes a smart HMO landlord. And I'm sure you'll agree it's been very, very interesting hearing from Olga. And if you're interested to know more about her platform, which is a marketing and managing platform for HMOs, it's called No White Walls. We'll pop the web address below this interview for you. And good luck with everything in 2019. Olga, you, to my mind, are the epitome of a smart HMO landlord.
Thank you.